What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Rangers Central. And today we are going to be talking about the news that came out about a half hour ago, probably at this point. But it is confirmed now that Filip Chytil will miss the remainder of the 2023-24 season. And I will read off the statement actually that the Rangers put up on their social medias. And it says, following a thorough evaluation of Filip Chytil after his recent setback from an upper body injury, which we know at this point is a concussion based on the numerous reports, and it's pretty obvious, it has been confirmed he will be out for the remainder of this season. The organization's top priority throughout this process has been Filip's health, and we will continue to fully support him in his recovery with an aim to return for the 2024-25 season. So, yeah, that pretty much means he's not even going to be back for the playoffs at this point. So they are going to be without Filip Chytil for the rest of the season. For all we know, he might not even, because it's an aim for next season. For all we know, he might miss part of next season, or hopefully not. He might miss all of it for all we know. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of the health there. But most importantly, I feel bad for him, and I hope he has a speedy recovery, because it can't be easy, the fact that he had a concussion just now and then he got another setback doing battle drills in a morning skate, which I have no idea why that was allowed to happen. I don't know if he was cleared for that or what. I don't know. I'm not in the organization. I don't have sources in the organization or anything, but I'm a little confused as to why not even 24 hours prior to that morning skate, he was in a non-contact jersey at practice, and then all of a sudden he's able to do board battle drills the next practice, the next morning skate, not even 24 hours later. That's just making me scratch my head, the entire thing of what went on there. I'm still questioning if they rushed him to begin with in terms of trying to get him to return. But regardless, I'm not going to be here to speculate that or anything. Most importantly, I just hope he ends up okay. I was so sold that this would be his breakout year. That's what's annoying. I bought his jersey because of how sure I was on Filip Chytil this year. And yeah, now we're stuck in a situation where he's going to be out for the rest of the year, including the playoffs. And it really sucks too, because he added such balance to this team in terms of their center core, because Vinny Trocheck was down the 3C. You had Chytil, people forget it, but Chytil started off on that line with Panarin and Lafreniere, and that line was so dominant still from opening night. From opening night, Filip Chytil had 6 assists, 6 points in 10 games played, I think it was. So yeah, no goals for him on the year too, which sucks, because he would have started scoring some goals. He would add balance to the second power play unit. So now this leaves the Rangers in a very tough spot in terms of filling that void. But at the same time, now they have an opportunity where they could utilize his cap space, over $4 million in cap space now at the trade deadline. And on top of that, they could waive certain guys. They could move on from Jake Leschyshyn. I don't think that would hurt. That opens up the cap to pretty much $5 million in cap space there. If they go out and acquire a defenseman, you're pretty much at 5.5 all of a sudden, because you would waive a guy like Zach Jones, or you would get rid of a guy like Eric Gustafsson. Who knows what they're going to do? But the cap is pretty much opened up wide, and now this gives them some flexibility. I was talking about on the post game last night how I would personally like Nick Dowd. I think that would be a perfect 3C. And I know people are kind of put off in terms of his points, but to me, one, he only has 5 less 5v5 points than Mika Zibanejad. That's number one. Second of all, he plays such a good role in terms of playing good on both sides of the puck. He could chip in offensively, and he plays a good shutdown role. He would be here this year and next year. So that's personally my favorite option, because then he could slide down to the 4C when Filip Chytil is ready to return. And that is some really good center depth. I'd prefer for them to give up their bigger ammo and their bigger assets to get a play-driving right winger. So now it's possible, and now we could realistically talk about these options of them filling a right wing spot, filling a 3C spot, filling out maybe another spot on the defense. There is a lot more options here for the Rangers to fill their roster out. That's the only thing that, you could take away here, but you still would rather Filip Chytil come back at the very least for the playoffs here, because you utilize the cap space right now, and then all of a sudden Filip Chytil comes back. Say you add a Nick Dowd, he goes to the 4C spot, and you add all these other assets, a play driving winger, and Filip Chytil's all of a sudden your 3C with Will Cooley and Capo Caco. Nick Dowd's on your fourth line, and whoever else you add potentially. That's a very deep team, and that changes a lot of factors going into the playoffs. But now they're not going to have him at all, and we'll see. I really don't know what they're going to do come this trade deadline, but a center has now become the top priority, and it's not even close. We've heard reports. Elliot Friedman, I think it was on 32 Thoughts, mentioned that they are interested in Sean Monahan. I still am, for one, not in favor of that, just because of the fact that, one, I feel like it's more of the same in terms of him being a guy that is streaky, a guy that's really power play reliant as well. Plus, on top of that, for a first round pick and an Adam Sikora right now would be the rumored package. I would not be on board with that. If his asking price drops down, or if Montreal's asking price drops down, I should say, like a second or a third round pick and a decent prospect, then I would be more interested. But for right now, I'm not really interested in a guy like Sean Monahan, despite the Rangers being interested. So it doesn't matter what I want. It's out of my control. I'm not part of the front office. I have no way of reaching the front office. So it will be the hand that we're dealt. It will be the hand that we're dealt if they go get Sean Monahan. But there is the option, too, now potentially for them to go after an Elias Lindholm. Do I think it's the best option to give up all those assets there for Elias Lindholm? I'm not entirely sure about that either. But there is the option there. They get added to the blue line, like I said. And I think a play-driving right winger is a mandatory thing come the deadline. I think they have to add a top line right winger. I am still not comfortable, even though Blake Wheeler's been better as of lately. I, for one, am not comfortable personally seeing him come playoff time being that top line right winger. Will the Rangers be comfortable with it? I guess we'll find out come the deadline. But you'd have to imagine now that Drury's probably working the phones as soon as today, even in terms of acquiring assets, because now that he knows for sure he has that extra cap space, now he could go out and actually make a move. So I would expect something to even maybe happen as soon as, I don't want to, get people's hopes up, but I would even say that maybe as soon as the end of the week, there could be some sort of trade, depending if teams are, it depends what team he trades with, because there's some teams that probably still don't know if they're going to declare themselves as buyers or sellers. But I think within this week or next week, we will see some sort of move go down in terms of a trade. I could be wrong on that. This is just all me guessing. Like I said, I have no info on this. But from just a hunch, just a guess in terms of the way the season has gone lately and the fact that now they have the cap space and they really, really need to get some help on this team, I would not be shocked personally if they go out and make a move as soon as this week or next week. Like, it wouldn't shock me. And we have seen Drury make early moves before. We saw it with Vetrano. We saw it last year with Vladimir Tarasenko. Who's to say he's not going to do it a third year in a row here, going out early and acquiring an asset? But to me, that would probably mean it would be a guy like Monahan. It would be a guy like Tarasenko, Vetrano. Well, a guy that's on a team that is not thriving whatsoever. It would have to be a very bad team where it's pretty much confirmed at this point that they're sellers. So we'll see. We'll see. Or maybe the first move is a blue line piece. Like, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? All I know is that I hope Filip Chytil gets well very soon, because it cannot be easy for him to do day-to-day things despite, nevertheless playing hockey right now. So I hope everything's okay with them, and it just sucks. He worked hard to try and come back this season, and it unfortunately will not happen now, and it just sucks. It just sucks, because I was really, really excited to watch a guy like Filip Chytil this year. And I know people will say, well, he wouldn't have been a difference maker. He's soft, this and that. You say that, but 20 plus goals in this lineup would be way better than what they have right now in terms of their depth. And, would he have been a difference maker? We don't know. We will never know. If this was the breakout year, then yeah, he would have been a difference maker. If it was kind of what he's done, it would still be nice. Still would be nice to have a guy who scores goals like that in the lineup, especially because of how bad the second power play unit is right now. But I digress. What's more important is Filip Chytil, the person, more than the hockey player itself, and hopefully he will end up being okay. So that's really all I got for you guys, though. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans. Turn on your notifications, too, so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.